Hey, welcome back everybody. It is springtime in North America, but it is fall here. Where is here? Well, we are lucky to be down in Santiago, Chile. We actually headed down here to go to La Serena to see a lot of the observatories there, because when you get up to the mountains, you get beautiful night skies. We had a great opportunity to see the LSST program. That's something we looked at last year, but it was also a fantastic opportunity for night photography. And if you're gonna do night photography, well, you need a tripod. When I travel, I always like to leave these at home because they're a pain to carry. But this is the brand new Peak Design Pro Lite. This particular set of legs is light enough to travel with, but it actually has some serious stability chops. And that's what I want to explore today. I'm Chris Niccolls, this is PetaPixel. Let's look at this brand new tripod. Now, Peak Design already make a dedicated travel tripod in both aluminum or carbon fiber. When this first came out, it created quite a stir. I mean, it is very small. It has an interesting design structure, but to be honest, I never loved it. I found it compact, but kind of cumbersome to use. The head didn't hold a ton of weight. It just didn't have the stability for like a large full-frame mirrorless camera. So Peak Design have now fleshed out their tripod lineup with their new Pro Series. So this is their Lite series. This has more compact, lighter legs, but you still get a serious ball head on top of here, and this is what I'm playing with today. But they do also have a Pro system that is bigger, more serious legs, and then a Pro tall system for people like Jordan. But I really want to focus on this particular tripod design because I feel like this gives you a really good blend between compactness and sturdiness. So it is actually quite easy to carry around. This is 3.7 pounds, a little bit heavier than the travel tripod series, but still very easy to carry around. I mean, that's 1.7 kilogram bag full of autumn leaves. That's not a big deal to haul around all day long. What about height-wise? Well, to stow it, it's about 19.2 inches if you're just carrying it around, and I'm finding that pretty reasonable. Just even swinging it around on the back of my Wotencraft pilot bag here, no problem. But how high can it go? Well, with the center column not extended just like this, it's roughly 55 inches. So with the camera here, it's still very usable if I want to have maximum stability. If I raise the center column about 64 inches, which actually goes just above my eye level. So for me and my height, this is actually ideal. Okay, so the legs are completely carbon fiber, as you can see. There is a bit of flex here. So we didn't bring our official tripod vibration testing tool because I didn't want any interesting questions at the airport with security on why I have these vibrators in my bag. So instead, I just decided to actually try it out in an actual application like the top of a mountain. And what I'm finding is like the flex is okay. If there's even a little bit of wind on a full frame mirrorless camera, as long as I'm not rocking a huge telephoto, it was doing a good job even with long exposures. Now, Peak Design like to use these leg locks. They are very lightweight and they are pretty rugged. They're very similar to what we had on the travel tripod. I do personally prefer a twist lock though. It's just simpler, less moving parts. I can control how much tension's on there just based on how much friction I put on that leg lock. Whereas here it's a fixed amount, but they wanted to keep the same shape, this sort of polygonal shape to the legs for extra rigidity, and you can't really do that with a round leg lock. What I do like about these is they don't take much effort to open and close, which is nice. And when they are all stowed up for speed, I can just open all three at once. I do like that. Now, like most tripods, you have this option here to put the legs out wider. You got this 3-stage ratcheting system. I like that. Whenever you want extra stability, you can get the legs wider, but also if you want to get really low to the ground. So, puts this up to the maximum stage, and you can get this thing down to about 6.2 inches minimum height, which most people would say is perfectly adequate, maybe even more than adequate. So if you want to get low to the ground, well, we got to do something about this long center column. So you've got this actually really nicely designed weight hook here on the bottom, and if you pull down on the release and twist, it comes right out, and you'll find a long hex key in there, okay? Now this hex key is what's going to let you modify the center column. So you turn the ball head sideways, you've got this port right at the top, and then the long hex key will go down through there, and then you can unscrew this little aluminum section from the top of the carbon fiber. That way, you can just take the carbon fiber tube out completely, and you would just have this attached there in the bottom and locked in place. And that gets you that nice low to the ground height. This is fine, and I like that they supply the tool with it, but the only issue is it's a little bit cumbersome. If I'm going back and forth between full height and I want the center column or low to the ground, having to screw in things and unscrew things, it's a little bit problematic. I mean, Falcam make the tree root travel tripod. I personally really like that design. The center column has a quick release right in the middle of it. It separates into a long and short piece, and I think that's far more convenient. So with a lot of designs like this, and this is actually a particular problem on the travel tripod version, if you close the center column all the way down like this, you can't really use the head very much, right? And that's fine. I mean, that's just how they design these things. But what I do like about this is, with a little bit of tension control, you gotta find the sweet spot here on the actual center column tension lock. You can actually have it stop right there. It actually has a little bit of a bump, and it will stop at the ideal height to then still have clearance for this ball head to be able to move around like that and not get in the way of the legs themselves. So I do like that, but you got to get it just right for it to stop. Otherwise, you've either locked it or it goes all the way through. And now that brings us, starting from the ground up, to the ball head itself. And I think for me, this is the biggest improvement that I am really enjoying here in the Peak design. So normally when you go with a dedicated travel tripod, the ball head is compact, but it's also often fiddly, doesn't hold a lot of weight, and that can be a real pain. I mean, the original Peak Design travel tripod was no exception. That head was quite annoying to use, very small controls. If you went for vertical compositions, you were very limited in how you could do that. But this is just the Peak Design. I mean, the Falcam tree root, that head can be quite fiddly when you're in the dark trying to move things. And as you can see here, if I yank on that head, even when it's fully locked down, I can still move it. I mean, there's some give there. So what about this head? Well, first off, it is physically going to be a little bit larger, which means you have more space for controls. And using this in complete darkness, it's just easier to find everything. Peak Design like having this twisting sort of ring to lock and unlock the ball head. What I will say is it's easy to find no matter where you put your hand on the ball head, and when you twist it back, it's rock solid. I don't need to reef on this to then have no give whatsoever. I mean, it is rock solid, and I really like that. And that's a big part of why this whole system can hold 35 pounds of weight. Now, we do have a cutout here for 90 degrees placement when you want to go vertical, and it's a true 90-degree stop, of course, so I like that. And then we do have a panning function to this, just a simple twist lock here, and we can pan. There's degrees on there. There aren't any click stops, but it's actually quite smooth, and there's a good resistance there, so it's not just going to flip around on you quickly. So I can lock that in place. And then that brings us to the quick release system here. Now, on the travel tripod from Peak Design, we did have some issues where you could accidentally unlock the quick release, and at an inopportune time, of course, that can be devastating, whereas this now actually has a nice locking system. So first off, just to engage it, you actually have a spirit level here on this tab, and that is actually your twist lock there. I've got a little switch down below it, and I've got a locked or unlocked feature, and if I lock it, it just won't go past the point of releasing the plate. If I unlock it, I can lock it open in place. There's a big spring release button here, which you're not going to miss. I like that. And that will snap it shut for you. Now, this does use Arca Swiss plates, and you can use longer plates just by removing the two screws on top. That's what I'm doing today. But Peak Design does have their own Arca Swiss compatible plates. They're square, they're very small and compact. They're quite strong, and they fit nice on here, and they will hold in between those two locking screws, so it's very secure. The one thing I'll say about them is it's just an Allen key to address it. You cannot use like a twist lock or a coin or something that you can find in your pocket to lock it in place, and I do prefer having that versatility. But if you buy enough plates and just lock them on all your cameras, I guess you can essentially leave them there permanently. Now, what if you're one of those naughty, dirty videographers and you're looking for a video kit on this tripod? Well, Peak Design has the answer for you. Look at this. You can get this separate video attachment for your head. The base is Arca Swiss, so it actually just clips right into the existing ball head there, and then you can open this up. Now, your control here for panning and tilting, this is basically selfie stick construction, so it's a little bit wobbly and fiddly. I don't know if I love it, but you're not going to be putting anything super heavy on here. But to the Peak Design's credit, the actual friction for the pan and tilt is actually quite smooth. So you don't have a lot of adjustable control there, but you can put a little bit of friction. The panning part of it, not as nice. But the tilt, you actually do get nice resistance here. There's some fluid resistance in there, and even if you crank this down, it doesn't tend to skip like some of the cheaper heads would. So that's actually quite smooth. On top of there, you've got another Arca Swiss quick release, so you can attach your video cameras. It seems solid, it seems stable. I think for like smaller, lighter cameras and basic video work, it might be useful. Jordan's tried it. It's a little bit more like lightweight than he would prefer. He wants something a little bit beefier, and I totally get that. This is pretty basic work. Now the bottom feet are rubber and they're screwed in place quite tightly, which I like. They're not just like a push-on cap, and you can unscrew and then remove those and replace those with spiked feet, but that is a separate thing that you have to purchase, and that's actually turned out to be a running theme about this entire system. So it's a pretty feature-rich tripod, and I really do like the weight and size because it's in the middle of a professional full-size tripod and a travel tripod. Peak Design always have thoughtful design features, but you are going to pay a little bit of a premium here. So as of the time now, with the information we have, this is going to be about $800, which it's not bad. I mean, I'm used to a lot of expensive carbon fiber tripods, even travel tripods being $1,000, $1,200, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of competition that's going to be quite a bit less than this and give very similar capabilities. Now, if you want those spiked feet for the bottom, $50, okay? I mean, yeah, that's a little bit pricier than you would normally see. And if you want that video kit, that's gonna be $150, which actually, considering the functionality of it, isn't that bad. But what if you also want to put on a different kind of head? You want to use your existing legs and change the head. Well, then you can get a Pro leveling base, and that's just going to basically attach to the center column. It's going to give you that ball for leveling, but it's just going to have a larger 3/8 screw on top. Then you can put on any other ball head you want, or a more beefy video head. Now, on something like this with these lighter legs, I probably wouldn't do that. I think the accessories they've provided are adequate, but remember, you do have other legs as well. The thicker, more solid Pro legs, and then the thicker, more solid and taller Pro Tall series. And on that, you might want to put a larger, heavier ball head or video head. Then that leveling base might make sense. But for $130 on this, I'm just going to stick with this ball head. I think it's doing a great job. And if you're a creator and your main camera happens to be a smartphone, there is a mobile mount that you can get for this. And yes, you have to get it separately. It is about $20. When you got the Peak Design Travel Tripod, it actually came with a mobile smartphone mount. This unfortunately does not. So smartphone on $800 tripod, budget another $20. I'm quite impressed with this product, to be honest, and I like it a lot better than the travel tripod that came before it, although for me personally that was a very low bar. So I'm happy to see this because this represents a fantastic compromise between stability for a larger camera but still not huge and heavy, and the ball head is a vast improvement. I absolutely like using this. I feel it's functional, it's easy to use in dark conditions, and it's very stable. The price on the base kit isn't as bad as I thought, but if you want to get all of those accessories, that price is going to add up quick. So I would really be careful and pick and choose what you think you might really need. But yeah, this is a really cool design, and I think it's ideal for walking around the streets of a large city like this, or going up and doing some night photography, and it still fits easily in my luggage. So I think we got a winner here. Definitely leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about this tripod, and anything else you have questions about. We'll answer those and talk about all that stuff on the PetaPixel podcast. So you should definitely check that out. Same channel, or you can listen to it on all the stuff that you like to listen to podcasts on. Also to point out that the fact that we are exploring Chile and doing these projects is all thanks to you guys, the members that get a PetaPixel.com membership, $3 a month, $30 a year. It helps us to fund projects just like this. You can peruse PetaPixel.com ads free, you get discounts on our merch store, and you also get access to JPEG and RAW files from the camera gear that we review. So it's definitely worthwhile, and we absolutely appreciate it. Thanks so much for making that possible. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.